Hey, Tom, it's really good to see you. We have an important conversation today. The RMD formula is changing for the first time in decades, and we're going to talk about whether it is good news for retirees. It's actually for the first time in 20 years, the IRS has changed how much we're required to withdraw from our retirement account starting at age 72. So what's new?
Yeah, essentially what has changed with the IRS, I mean, the Secure Act that passed a couple of years ago, which pushed out the RMD requirement to age 72. And essentially what the IRS has did is substantiated and come out to basically increase the distribution periods. If you notice here, the old calculation or the tables they used, if you're age 72, you had a distribution period of 25 years. And now with the new under the IRS guidelines, the revised guidelines, now that number is 27 years. So what does that mean? That means that the larger accounts, if you have a larger account, you have more time to disperse those funds, which essentially can potentially lead to lower taxation, ideally, if the accounts are growing at an average rate, if you will. But you're going to reduce your overall taxation, and the IRS will essentially get a lower taxes as well if you have more time to distribute those funds.
And we're going to break that down in just a second, but I want to make sure everybody understands first what RMDs are and how they're calculated.
Right. RMDs are required minimum distributions required by the IRS that at a certain period of time, 72 and a half, that those monies that are in qualified accounts, excluding Roth IRAs, that you have to take a distribution out of those accounts. If not, there's a penalty. Now, how they're calculated is this: at the end of each year, by year 31st or 31st of each year, they take the total value of your IRAs or employer sponsor plans, and they calculate that number and divide it by your life expectancy factor, that number that we just looked at. And that will be the number that is your RMD. What's really important about that is that if you don't take those RMDs, you can get a taxation of about 50% of whatever that RMD number is. So it's important that you meet with a tax.
That's a lot. So I feel like this really is kind of a good news, bad news scenario. You can allow your money to grow tax deferred, which means a larger pot of money. But of course, the larger the distribution, the larger the tax bill.
Right, exactly. So one of the things that I like to talk to my clients about, Roth IRAs are a great strategy, right? Moving your money over into converting now, especially with the tax rates being where they are right now, and they're going to go up here in 2026. So you want to be thinking, okay, you got some money in your IRAs, your employer sponsor plans. Think about converting those over onto those Roth IRAs, so you don't have to worry about those distributions later in life, and especially as that money grows in those accounts, and that money can pass, over to your beneficiary. So it's a great strategy to employ. I would highly advise meeting with a tax advisor on this strategy for sure.
Yeah, so important, especially because so many of us have 401ks, which are just those tax bombs waiting to happen. Thomas, if somebody would like to ask you questions about these changes or possibly how to do a Roth conversion, what's the best way to reach you?
Oh, yeah, they can definitely go to my website. It's it's Martin Heritage Group LLC.com. You can shoot me an email rather at info@martinheritagegroupllc.com. You can also give me a phone call, 651-503-6064. You can find me on all social media platforms at Martin Heritage Group LLC.
Very easy. All right, Thomas, thank you.
Thank you.